I'm gonna reword that because I need to talk about how they killed him in his sleep. Bro, they cut the power to the whole block. I'm saying bro, this was strategic. That nigga William O'Neal, that nigga's a rat. He was a Black Panther, gave the police, they gave him the blueprint to his house, bro. And they was like, we gonna cut the power to the whole block and we gonna have a shootout with these niggas in the middle of the night. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to today's episode of Solutions. So on today, I'm going to be discussing the importance of perspective adoption when it comes to the dynamic between the Black community and, let's say, everybody else. So with that said, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the video. So to explain this topic, I'm going to use an example that I saw. It was a video with G Herbo. It was basically him talking about how now his community looks 10 times worse than it did when he was coming up, basically through high school, when he basically emerged on the rap scene. He was basically reflecting, and people in the comments were like, well, how can you sit up and talk about this like you hadn't sold out your community for diamonds and cars? So if you agree with this statement, I'd like to ask you a few questions. So what would you do if you were born into a family that was at war with other people in your community before you were even born? Let's say you're a good person and you want to live life the right way, even though you're a young man and you're still learning what life looks like. So let's say you're a good person and you want to live life the right way. Your definition of right and wrong is based on what I consider to be the foundation: parenting, your family environment, and your community. Chances are your dad is either a bad influence in more ways than not, because he most likely didn't have his father growing up, or your father isn't around at all. And that's if you aren't in the system with a legal guardian who isn't your biological parent at all, or someone else in the family, like say a grandmother, which you'll see is very prevalent for kids to stay with their grandmother in the Black community. Don't let your family be historically reliant upon government assistance because they migrated here as slaves and didn't have anything. And back then, I don't know about you, but they weren't approving Black people for loans when the houses were still a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars. And HUD told the leaders of the house, you can't make too much money or we'll have to roll back the amount of assistance that we're giving you. Or there can't be a father figure in the household. If you look past all of that in your family, you still have to live in a community where what you're living through is the only thing that you see as being realistic for people that look like you and that come up with your upbringing. If you look past all of that in your family, you still have to live in a community where it's realistic for the people that you live around that look like you to have a similar upbringing as yours. And on the other end, most races that success is realistic for do nothing but judge you and extort the resources out of your community. Not to mention, the man completely erased your lineage from traditional schooling, so you have absolutely no idea who you are or what your ancestors were capable of. They tell you that Christopher Columbus is Jesus Christ, and if you don't agree, they'll fail you. So you take the communities that already don't have recreational businesses, you remove the trades from schools, systematically, of course. Then you close their school and force them to go to the same school as shorty who family they've been into it with before they were even born. And people on the outside wonder why our communities look the way that they do. Obviously, the people that are controlling all of this, like I call puppet masters, they know why our communities look the way that they do, and they just ride the wave of all Black people ain't this, and they're not capable, and you can't do this. Don't believe in the narrative. Hello. What's going on, y'all? It's Cam from Solutions. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to all the Black-owned businesses out there. Shout out to all the HBCUs out there. With that said, I hope y'all enjoy the video and that y'all have a blessed day. I'm bro. If I put you in a building, called it a project, 10 stories high with the family and financial limitations that I mentioned earlier, with you and on average 9 other heads per apartment, and we don't service the building, we don't take care of the community, what do you think you would do? How do you think you would turn out? Let's say you're a little older. You were born after the projects were cleared out, but your family is still on government subsidy. So now we're gonna take the voucher that you have and we're gonna put you on the next block over from the same gang members you've been into with your whole life. This is the reason why sets are prevalent in the Black community and there is no leadership structure in the gang community anymore. They won't tell you that the gangs were created to protect black communities from Irish and Greek gangs after they settled in the west and south sides of Chicago. The beloved Mayor Richard Daley was one of these gang members, which back then they labeled as athletic clubs. When the white man does it, it's just a band of young kids that are athletes. They're called athletic clubs. But when the black man does it to protect his community, they're a gang. For my history buffs out there, you all know that Larry Hoover and Barksdale and Jeff Fort were all born down south as sharecroppers. If you want to fact check me, read King David and Boss Daily. Yes, the same King David that everybody in Chicago merch everything on. So you need to ask yourself, if these groups were doing the same thing, why does Mayor Richard Daley have a respected reputation and even a school named after him, but Larry Hoover is incarcerated? And to take it a step further, why do you think they felt that it was okay for Hoover to stay alive and be in jail, but they felt the need to execute Fred Hampton? I'm gonna reword that, because I need to talk about how they killed him in his sleep. Bro, they cut the power to a whole block. I'm saying bro, this was strategic. That nigga William O'Neal, that nigga's a rat. He was a Black Panther, gave the police, they gave him the blueprint to his house, bro. And they was like, we gonna cut the power to the whole block and we gonna have a shootout with these niggas in the middle of the night. And the picture that they put on the news, all of the police officers had smiles on their faces. I'm saying Fred Hampton put the free lunch program that's still in place today, he did that, bro. I'm saying this man, he straight unity, no guns, none of that. He with the Black Panthers. And they killed this man. In his sleep. And to take it a step further, why do you think they felt like it was good enough for Hoover to stay alive and be in jail, but they felt the need to execute Fred Hampton in his sleep? In my eyes, they're telling us that unity is power, even stronger than power enforced by violence. They told us with the Black Wall Street bombing, the Tulsa massacre, that we were barking up the right tree. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Last thing that I want to say is, don't allow the blinders that your suburban upbringing has placed over your eyes to blind you from the reason, the root cause behind the actions of the very population that you're so judgmental of. With that said, man, I pray that y'all have a blessed week. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out. It's recording. Like, my mom being from Iowa and my dad being a former GD from the South Side, it was really like grooming for this. And it's strange because same example that I gave, I know my father, I love him, but I can see how him not having a father groomed him into who he is today. I can see how him having to tote a gun when he go to school, because his freshman hell week groomed him into who it is that he was, you know what I'm saying, who he is today. So I can see how my family on his side being him, my grandma, my auntie, and all of his friends, that's the only family I have on their side, and my sister. But as far as lineage family, like older family, I have two. My grandma, I barely know my grandma on my dad's side. Like, I probably seen her, like, I can count on my hands how many times I've seen her. I couldn't, bro, if my grandma was standing in front of me on my dad's side, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? And all of this is like, when are we going to, like, yes, I just did a whole video on why it's important, like, what the black community, how we got to where we are. But when will we take it from, okay, it's messed up and I'm on government subsidy, to creating a black agenda? I seen a video, shorty from California. She said, when are we going to have a Black Project 2025? When will we start thinking 50 years, 100 years down the line, opposed to what I believe voting is, thinking 4 years ahead? Because as we seen, the election didn't go the way most black people wanted it to go. So now what we gonna do? We got our hands tied, we gonna cry about it, or we gonna take advantage of the policies that they're putting in place? Or we gonna pay attention to why the rich don't pay taxes? And we're going to do what's necessary to rebuild our own communities. Because if you go ask Massa hey, I want to be like you. I want to start making money. I don't want you to take advantage of me anymore. I don't want you to capitalize off of me. I want your profit margins to be lower, and I want you to have more competition, and I want you to have problems capitalizing off of my content the same way that y'all been doing y'all whole lives. Whenever I say conquistadors, that's the population I'm referring to. You think they gonna be okay with that? On top of that, I'm not even gonna talk politics, bro. I'm not gonna talk politics, because when Trump got in office, them niggas, bro, war in Israel, they like, cool, we dead now. Them niggas are dead in wars because respect goes further. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not for either party. Both of them niggas, you're done. But honestly, this is what I told my brother, Jay. I call him my brother because same birthday. It's kind of crazy because we two totally different people, but everything I say something, he'd be thinking something, and I say whatever. I told him, I'm like, bro, if Kamala get in office, we're going into World War III. If Trump get in office, it's gonna be subtle yet noticeable white supremacy. I don't know about you. I'm not speaking that over my life. But I'd rather this than World War III, because World War III, nigga, we're done. Nowadays, bro, if you could cheat in the military, our generation would. So that's one way I'm not trying to go. That's why I'm like, it is what it is, honestly. My grandma, she was like, if you don't vote Kamala, don't vote at all. I'm like, I'm indifferent. So I did what I did. Bro,